Hi, I'm Carcina.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it.
Go in and do a raid in someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Welcome. Sean Diddy Combs, aka Puff Daddy, explained exactly what was going on, and people just didn't listen as to why he's being attacked. And a lot of people don't know that Pharrell was also involved in this lawsuit because he sued the same company for the same practices that was done to him. But Pharrell never pushed it to the extreme that Puffy did. So Pharrell was able to escape his lawsuit and stay quiet, where Diddy went all the way loud. And when you get loud and you start attacking their, diversity situation that they have with the company Diageo or whatever they pronounce it, it leads to a very negative, outlook on a diverse situation that it does not show inclusion. And it shows that if you don't do what we say, these things could happen to you. We could take away your freedom. We could strip you down of your resources. And everything that you had that made you a billionaire, we'll take it from you. Now you're reduced to nothing. We'll label you so no one will want to come around you no more. Strip the ego down to nothing. The only thing you have is the genuine love of your family. That's it. So now, looking at these scenarios, you look at what Diddy had to deal with and everything he was faced with, and you start answering the questions, why did this happen to you? Why did this happen to Diddy? It's not fair to some people. Some people say he's getting what he deserved, but they blame him for everything. They blame him for Biggie's murder. They blame him for Tupac's murder. They blame him for everything. When Big died, that's all they brought up. Oh, Big died because of Puff. Puff tried to eliminate him. He wanted to take all the money. People make these observations and realizations based on their own ideologies of what they feel should happen. Not all times that things are based on reality. They're based on illusions. And you have to find your way and navigate through the illusions so that you would give yourself a chance. Now, when you see the majority of the people in the game today and they say, all right, well, I get it. This is the game. This is how it goes. So they see the scenarios and how it's lined up. They start basically making their views and everything that they believe go in the direction that they want it to go. He made poor decisions as a CEO with the life of his main star, Biggie. That was in 1997, almost 30 years ago. And we're sitting here going and dealing with that scenario and situation as we speak. That man, in no way, shape, or form, tried to destroy Biggie Smalls or try to get him taken out. He didn't try to take Tupac out. It's not his character. It's not who he is. People who want to see that happen or strip somebody down only doing it because they don't like him. And that's cool, I guess. But I could never put a murder on somebody when they didn't do it. Now, when it comes to Sean Diddy Combs in this situation, he clearly explains the issues of what's going on with him right now. And the fact that he can't make bail, it just shows the example of the racist society that you're dealing with right now. When everybody else who's been gone for double murder, like O.J. Simpson, double murder, was at home with $250,000 bond. He was at the crib. So he got to sat in his bed, sleep in his bed, wake up, and go to his trial. And they end up convicting him on a crime, taking 10 years away from his life when he was out of jail. So don't forget to hit the like button, good people. Subscribe to the page. Hit that notification bell so that you can get all your notifications and you don't have to be left out. And by all means, don't forget to hit the Cash App up, which is Carcino, so you can support the page. We love and appreciate everybody out there who's loving the pages and everything. And the Patreon is Carcino for Life. Now, as we often stated many times before, when people are seeing stuff happen, they don't, it's like in real time. But they never remember the impetus of what the situation really is based upon. And everybody says, these crimes ain't got nothing to do with this. This is not connected. Bro, we not slow. We're not slow. This is all connected.
Black man and all that. So a lot of people was confused when the lawsuit came about. You shared some information with us when we came to your house that we wasn't aware of. So can you really talk about that? Because I think it's a very interesting case study for entrepreneurs to understand.
Definitely. The situation's in the courts now, so I'm gonna share with y'all what I can. This is all public record. But basically, I was called to have a meeting with Diageo, and they knew that I was kind of killing things in the culture, and they were trying to fix their diversity problem. And through that, a meeting was set up, and I told them, I want to be an owner, that I have these ideas from promoting parties at Howard, just remembering that I would always get the door and never get the bar. And so I said I have aspirations to have Black-owned brands owned by Black people behind the bar and a part of your organization. They're the biggest distributor of spirits in the world, biggest maker of spirits in the world. So we get a test project. I'm looking at their portfolio, and they say we can start something from scratch. But I'm looking at their portfolio, and I remember one night I was having a great time with Ciroc. I had some Ciroc. It was made by grapes, and I remember, having just such the greatest time. And so the light bulb went off in my head. I said, I don't want to wait and develop nothing. Let me show you what I could do with Ciroc. Let me show you how I could turn your revenue around. They were losing $40 million a year. And I went and turned it around and took it to 2.6 million cases from 40,000 cases. Okay, and so this is something that's never been done.
Clap it up for that.
And so 15 years later, even though I had that success, I was always fighting for Ciroc not to be pigeonholed.
Now, here's the thing. What Sean Puffy Combs did was, like I told you, I had Ciroc in New Year's of 2006. That was my first time ever hearing a Ciroc. He was at a New Year's party bringing in the year 2006. And at the start of that year, to when everything imploded, that was the first time I ever heard of Ciroc. So with Ciroc being on the market the way that it was like a bomb went off. Like, boom. It was an epiphany, right? And you're saying to yourself, wow, this is like when Diddy got involved, it just took off. Now, Diddy had other investments he was doing. He had Proactive before anybody ever heard of Proactive, before they got any other celebrity to endorse it. Diddy was using Proactive on his skin before anybody even knew it. So he got in on the ground floor of Proactive. So now that he's looking at the books and the portfolio, a lot of people don't understand that he's actually pretty smart. Sean Puffy Combs is actually, Diddy is smart. He's innovative. He has ideas. And that's something that these billionaires who are not creative, they just have money. This is why they go get Diddy. Diddy knows how to manage, market, and do these things. He has ideas. He tries things. Sometimes they fail. Sometimes they are very successful. But when Diddy is successful, it turns into billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars. So they just don't give him money. As somebody else put it, like, man, they just giving Diddy money. They wasting money on him. Now, what he meant by he don't want the company to be pigeonholed. See, when you're talking about pigeonholing a company, he don't want it to be marginalized. You know, and he's always fighting against that. Because when you don't fight against it and you just let it go on, you're going to be victimized in the end. He don't want to be someone. Well, you don't want to be somebody like that. You don't want to be put in a certain position or a class or caste or people just putting you somewhere without even considering what you bring to the table. They're not even looking at you as a partner. They're not viewing you as a real serious company. You know, you're basically put in a station. So you have to always understand that these narratives, these stereotypes is often placed upon us as people of color. So Diddy is often trying to fight against that because he feels that we're more.
Not to be pigeonholed as a black brand, not to be pigeonholed as an urban brand. I already went through that. I went through that with Sean John. They put me in the urban section. I had to go and disrupt the fashion industry, pull up on Fashion Week and show them what that black excellence swag is about. And that's what we did with Sean John. And so with Ciroc, it was the same thing, get into the spirits industry. No matter what industry I went into, I always came up against this ceiling that they just wanted to keep me in the colored section. I would say for businesses, you have white only business, Just like you have white only bathrooms back in the days and you have black only business. And so my fight is to always make sure that we could just do business. I want to be treated equally like anybody else. And so that's what the fight is about. And it's not me just fighting for me. I'm fighting for us. Because whatever bar I set, y'all have to come behind me on that bar, and I want to make sure that it's right. So that's what the fight is about, simply put. And the last things to make it clear was with Deleon. I still own Deleon, okay? So with Deleon, I sent my people.
Before you tell the story about that, just talk about the process of getting Deleon, right? Because it was you proved yourself with Ciroc, and so now there's an opportunity to create something else.
And shouts out to Earn Your Leisure. That's where this interview came from. Great interview, great channel, speaking on Black excellence, Black business, the culture, and it's about doing things the right way. You know, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, and you want to always make sure that you're in the proper perspective. Now, some people don't know what that means, but being in the proper light and the proper perspectives, you want to make sure you got all your ducks in a row. Okay, because this is a very serious thing. What he's saying is, I'm not fighting for me. I'm fighting for all of y'all. Because if this is successful and I succeed here, and I get a place at the table to where we just do business. I'm not doing Black business. I'm not doing it. I'm just doing business like everybody else. That can open up the gates and the tables. They're not willing to give you those keys. In fashion, in liquor, no, never that. Franchise? No way. They don't want to create Black wealth. Because one, they don't look at you as somebody who is a partner. They believe they're above you, even though they do none of the legwork. They get all the money in their life the really old-fashioned way. They inherited it. So they never had to really work hard at anything in their life. And here you are, work hard to get up to their level. It's embarrassing to them because you would always beat them and surpass them, because if they look at you on an even kill, Diddy outworks all of those other billionaires. So if they're on an even level of partners, eventually Diddy would turn around and buy them out. He'll try to take the company, anything, increase the wealth, expand it, then other Blacks will come over and take over the market. And they would have created that lane for that to happen, and they don't want that. They like it just the way it is. But they want your Black dollars. Why? Because we generate $1 trillion in revenue. No one spends like Black folks. We're poor, but we will spend money on things we don't need. Nobody does it better. We gotta have a blunt. We gotta have yak. We gotta have it all. We gotta have the Jordans. We gotta have a Gucci belt. We gotta have Louis Vuitton. We gotta have all of these expensive brands that do nothing to bring money to your community. We love to spend it on it.
With a lot of, first of all, corporate America is made and built for white men. So when you're going into corporate America, usually your entryway is to help them with their diversity problem. But at the end of the day, you want to be able to open up doors. Sometimes you got to take that opportunity and get in. And so that's what I did with Ciroc. But I told them I don't work for nobody. Everything in my portfolio I own. So you guys have to know my ultimate dream is a tequila. since I was a kid, I remember drinking tequila or being afraid to drink tequila at first. Since not a kid, a teenager.
Correction, please.
I mean, I was over 21.
Yeah. He was 21 at Howard. I remember it.
Yeah, but tequila used to have a worm in it. That's how dangerous they used to like market it. But I was like, I really love tequila. And this was before the whole tequila craze. So it's like you make a deal. You make a deal like, I'm gonna advance this for you so then we could be good partners and you could give me what I want, which is my opportunity for me to own my brand and to be able to build generational wealth for my kids and my people. And I just need the same 24 hours as y'all giving everybody else in your portfolio. And I couldn't get that. I had to send my people down to Mexico. And this is just to tell you what the fight is about. They went down to Mexico, and when they got down there, they found out that there was 0 agave planted for Deleon. So there was no plan for us to be successful. There was no equal treatment. The other brands, they had agave planted. They had no agave planted for me. And sometimes you have to go check even your partners to see what's really going on. And so when I saw that, I was like, nah, I'm gonna fight because it's bigger than me. It's about not just me, it's about we, it's about all of us. So I chose my purpose over profit. And that's the whole Deleon situation.
Yeah, you brought up distribution. Yeah, clap it up for that.
Now, that's the situation that he was faced with. And to see something like that, as a black man, going through a situation like that, that's alarming. You could not like Puffy all you want. I understand that argument. I've been in business for a long time. And I can tell you, not even on a small level, it's every level. Even when you try to be invisible, they find a way. They find a way to try to marginalize you. I've had white business partners. I've had international people from Zurich who I've never met physically on our team. I'm in a partnership deal with like 5 people, Ukrainian, person from Mexico, China, 2 people that's black. It was the only me and a woman named Sandra were the only 2 black people on the team. And everybody had something they brought to the table. The guy from Zurich, he had the money. He was the financier. He brought a lot of money to the table. But he doesn't have vision. He doesn't do the work. Me, I was the leg work guy. I know how to get things done. I had the connections that I can plug everything together and get that plug and plug everybody up in the sockets. And I was that extension. I was the extension cord. Sandra comes in, she talks the business lingo, and she was basically the mouthpiece for our team and represented me and started talking business lingo. I just don't want to go into talking business lingo, and I just don't want to do that. I'm more direct. And when I have to get on board and when I have to do the speak, they want to hear from me, then they will. And that's normally when things aren't going the way it should. That's when I would get involved. And when I get involved, I'm the hammer. They're the nails, I'm the hammer. And I'm nailing everybody back down in line that they need to get. And I'm very, very good at that. As you can see, and from my YouTube days here, you already know, very good at hammering home a point. Now, with that being said, you're going to have people that you do business with who are shady. You're going to have some that comes and try to take more than what they're supposed to get. And trying to work with other people's companies and other people's brands. We had a piece of business. Somebody tried to put it in their own personal LLC and try to link their personal LLC to the business account that we had, so they could try to siphon some of the revenue coming in into their personal LLC. And they got caught doing that. And it's unfortunate because we have what you would call, we have what you would call there we go. We have what you would call a system that works. And when you deal with people that try to come in and manipulate the system to try to find cracks and holes in it, and unfortunately, it was people that look like us. We only got 2 black people working in the group, and people outside the group from Nigeria, our brothers. They were very nice in their letters. They're common, and the whole time they're trying to scam and get over. And it's like, why? It's not going to go anywhere. And they try to look for the weak link. And they thought I would be the weak link. Being a black man from America. I was weak. It's sad, but this is how it all plays into that narrative of what Puffy's talking about. International business. Now, these people, complexion is blacker than mine, but yet they're trying to marginalize me just like anybody else. Now, what was I able to do? I was able to do something that was never done before. I exposed their scam with the Ministry of Defense. 2 of those people were incarcerated in their own country of Nigeria. Others had other things that was on their plate, and they're going to have to deal with those people because they have already scammed some very rich people from other countries. They were looking to get these people. They didn't know who they were dealing with. Very rich people in Nigeria, billionaires. Now, they do a lot of business in construction here in the United States. They have a lot of different, investments, building projects that no outside people are going to come in without working with the, Ministry of Defense. Now, a lot of y'all might think like that's the major part, right? That was the major thing there. There's other parties that you don't understand. Other parts that you don't understand, rather. It's like I said, it's a ton of moving pieces. Now,
folks are revolting.
People were starting to attack Sean Puffy Combs because he stated he was going to do the most boldest thing in entertainment. He launched a black political party for young black elected officials and activists. It's called Our Black Party. So it didn't matter if you were a Republican or a Democrat or independent. They had a group that was going to represent black people. They're saying, we want something for our vote. Now, this is problematic with the Democratic Party. But when he came out and said, hey, when he first announced it, he announced it like we're back in Biden. Even though he was a Trump fan all those years, he's saying, hey, Donald Trump is a big friend and was a friend with Sean Puffy Combs for years. But for president of the United States, he chose Joe Biden. So when he did this, he's saying that you have to do something for our vote, like everybody else. Everyone else had a political party. Diddy saw that this is how they got things done. This is how people got bills. This is how everybody got something done. We didn't have our own political party. So when he said our black party, everybody thought he was crazy. Oh, yeah, because see, no one can ever imagine something like that. Now, of course, Diddy is not at the helm of it. There's other people involved in launching this party. Now, he said the number one priority was to get Trump out of office. Trump had to go. We can't allow this man to continue to divide us. So he was never standing there saying that we're going to vote this way again. Now, as Joe was getting ready to run again, he doesn't like the idea of what this was about, that each time there's an election, black people are going to have a seat at the table to be able to negotiate for what they want. Joe and them assumed that our black party was going to be on board to boost his pockets for re-election. This did not happen, as the black vote was still undecided on will we get behind Joe Biden again. Well, let's just say our black party is no more. It's go. As quickly as it came, oh, it went. Now, Can you imagine how that would have went for anybody else in the world? Do you understand that? Does this make any sense to you now? So Diageo is just one part of this element. So all the left and the Democrats who thought this black man is going to do something and put himself as the head of launching this Our Black Party and getting these people together, the Democrats are going to show you something. They're going to put you into place. You are a Democrat. That's what you do. You don't have a political party where you could go Republican or Democrat. You got to do what we say. You black, you vote Democrat. That's what they want you to say. Not, we gonna have our own political party and our vote. You gotta earn our vote. Oh no. That's the wrong message for them. They ain't trying to hear that. So now you get the picture. It was always going to be this way. This was always going to be the outcome. There's a saying that goes, this is going to happen with or without you. You're just going to have to understand it. Man, this world moves pretty fast, buddy. But understand that this is what happened to Diddy. This is what happened to Sean Puffy Combs. Okay? Wasn't nothing unusual. Oh, yeah. Diddy meant what he said.
If they stop killing us, I don't think that us as a people can handle like one more hashtag. I know we're at the breaking point. There's a new Negro, and that new Negro, that new black person is not scared, is not fearful. They're not afraid to die. They understand that this is life and that violence has to be an option. What will give us some time to really step into the momentum of the unity and love is let's get Trump out of office. If Trump's in office, there's gonna be bloodshed.
Well, then you're gonna have Trump's supporters who pissed off that he's not in there no more. So they're gonna get buck regardless.
Yeah, if they get buck.
We got a nuck.
No, if they get buck, I wish they would.
Word. Mm-hmm.
They get buck, we're gonna eat their arms off. Mm-hmm. We're not gonna keep on playing with these people. Mm-hmm. You know? We have one job first right now, and that's to get Trump out of office. And then what we could do that is a nonviolent action is we could mobilize and organize politically.
Yeah, you know, when you keep talking about mobilizing and organizing, that's literally all you've been doing your entire career, though.
Yes.
Like, you mobilize people to go to the liquor store. You mobilize people to buy records. You mobilize people, you know, to buy clothes. Like, you should be able to do that when it comes to politics.
You have a lot of scary people. People are with, you know, incremental change. That's not going to get us anywhere. If we stay on this trajectory, in 30 years, we'll have zero wealth. And all of that is tied back to if we unify. If we don't unify politically, we don't unify economically, and most importantly, we don't unify in love, then we're not going to last. They have us.
Now, they never promote this part of Sean Puffy Combs. They always want to make you feel like he's the party guy. He pouring champagne down everybody. They don't want you to see the man is actually smart. And what he's saying is actually true. And if you don't pay attention in the next 30 years, those opportunities and those doors that's open, they're not going to be there for you no more. Some people see it. I remember when they said, man, everybody free. Ain't no slavery no more. Slavery is still going on. They just expanded the plantation. You just can't see it because you think a chain should be around your neck that's visible, that you can see. You're already bound and shackled by laws that are unfair, practices that are unfair that you can't even see. You're being marginalized at your job. You're underpaid and don't even know it. Your kids can't go to the right schools or get taught the right things, the books that they're sending, there are certain classes they're not even allowed to teach your children. They're not teaching economics in the projects or in what they call urban areas. They don't teach economics. They got a math class. They told, go get a job. Okay? Opportunity zones. Opportunity for who? Opportunity for you to work for them. All these so-called billionaires, if you're a billionaire, why are you doing all the work? You think these other billionaires is doing work? No. In 1991, they were already introducing laws that have been put in place for 50 to 100 years that eliminates all your rights. The economic prison system. They're going to have a whole prison system generating money and having you do cheap labor. Whether it's working on cars, building up these small towns that they put these prisons in, where they got the warden, the person that handles the vending is related to the warden. They come in. Sorry about the noise. We got work going on at the house. So, it's work that needs to be done. So. You see, I'm like Rockefeller Towers. You know, do Rockefeller, you think he was washing the windows to his skyscrapers? No. So they delegate. And you look at everything else that a billionaire does, and you say, okay, well, I want to think like a billionaire. How do I move like a billionaire? That's because that's the move I want to make. Well, you think Jay-Z is a billionaire? Jay-Z got work. Jay-Z got to go out there and promote. He got to sell stuff. He has to keep doing stuff. He has to keep working. He has to be seen. He has to move in a way where his brand is contingent on him. He can't just say, I ain't gonna do nothing, and don't have to, and it runs on automatic pilot. His celebrity generates his wealth. And you look at people like Drake, his celebrity generates his wealth. Once the celebrity is stripped and the people don't care as much, that wealth and net worth drops dramatically because everything is contingent on it. So now Jay has great investments in like art, and he's invested in a lot of real estate and properties. And yeah, that'll do him great, but it's not gonna have him suffice. They're not gonna be liquid with that because there's only so much that they can do in the margin in the space that they're in. So in that space that those two are in, they can't afford to fall back. So Beyonce will go on a tour, put out an album, and Jay will just eat off that. And like I told you guys, I'm gonna let you guys know on the Patreon why Beyonce can't leave Jay-Z. She can't leave. Y'all think she can. She can't leave Jay-Z. And we'll get into that. You'll see why she didn't help Solange on that elevator. She's got to do what she's told. But we'll get into that on the Patreon, of course. Listening to Sean Puffy Combs break it down to you and tell you why we're in this state that we're in. And you see where we're at. And him wanting to start a black political party because he wants to have that conversation. He wants to bring that to the table. He wants that element to be heard because he's trying to wake black people's minds up. He's trying to wake young black people who are in business, who might be in politics, and they're following behind the Democratic Party blindly because they feel like the left will give them more of an opportunity. Or if you're a Republican, he's saying, hey, you're a Republican and you got the right idea, we'll listen to you. If you're making more sense than this Democrat, hey, we're going to come over here. That's not what the Democrats wanted to hear. You will not be able to bargain like every other group, right? The Asians have their own political group. And you see what they got? They got a package. So what they bring to the table is saying, hey, the Indian Americans, yeah, they got hundreds of millions of dollars to bail out their businesses by Kamala Harris. And I will be addressing Barack Obama. I couldn't believe when I heard him actually make that speech that he made. So I will have to address that. Oh yeah, that's going to be addressed. That cannot go unchecked, especially being a black man from Chicago. That will be addressed. Now, moving right along. moving right along. Let's say we take it all the way to the end of the moon and back. What would be the ideal reasoning for anybody else out there? Don't forget to hit the like button too. I know many of y'all been here for this whole ride. Hopefully you guys remember to do that. You remember to subscribe to the page, everything, right? Now, you just heard Diddy explain the entire situation. There's still people out there gonna be like, this stuff ain't got nothing to do with all that. Diddy cases ain't got nothing to do with that. All this stuff is that they're charging Diddy with is from years ago. Nothing really new at all. So all this stuff is old. All these people could have come forward last year and done these civil suits. Not one of them ever went to the police. Not one. Hundreds of lawsuits, not one went to the police. Now all of a sudden, Diddy is the face of having freaky parties. Freak off is a whole new term now. All of a sudden, he's drugging everybody. All of them now have been drugged, allegedly. All these pills down their throats. They all blacking out and passing out, but they remember everything. They all, it is the sickest thing I've ever heard because it insults my intelligence. It insults my intelligence. And I hate when us as black people would say some of the dumbest remarks like, they can't all be lying. Yes, they can all be lying. Well, 120 people though? Yes. 120 people. It could be 120 million people. If everybody's all in a group together, just because they're all screaming it, don't make it so. Only the facts make it so. And I don't believe none of them at all. Anybody who participated in a freak off wanted to be there. And I still believe that. How they gonna force you to be in a freak off? And then they let you go and you still don't go to the police. Just don't make no damn sense. That of what we have been dumbed down to just to believe it. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm out. Shouts out to Kwame Brown Bus Life. Welcome to HDIITV. Subscribe to these pages. Like I said, my Patreon is Carcino for Life. You're going to want to check that out. We got the Charlie Murphy bodyguard stories back up. We have a lot more coming. Yeah, we talk about Todd Moskowitz in there, and you're gonna want to see that video. Shouts out to the Sports Talk with Jose Rodriguez. Support his page, Armando Black TV. Oh, absolutely. Showface News. Who we got? The Star Report, Damn D POV. I haven't seen a Damn D video in a while. That's a shock. Yeah, man. One Crack News, the whole thing, man. Donate to everybody who donated to my Cash App, man. And everybody who showed up here and joined and subscribed to the page. We appreciate y'all. And we out.